Hello, everybody. My name is Miss Pamela Zingini, and I am the chairperson of the Moot Society of the University of Zimbabwe. Today, I will be taking you through the tips, tricks, guidelines regarding legal research on your moot court problem. Before we start, there are two things to note. Firstly, this video is not going to be an in-depth analysis on how to conduct your legal research for your mood problem. Rather, this video will seek to give you a general overview of the guidelines that will assist you as you engage in researching and the relevant law to assist you in solving your mood problem. Tools will be given to you at the end of the video that will assist you if you wish to go deeper into the nitty-gritties of legal research. Secondly, there is no right answer in a moot court problem. The sooner you realize this, the better you'll be in your performance as a mooter. There is never a right answer, and most often there are not. There are 2 or 3 ways to arrive at the same conclusion. Without much further ado, let's get started. So the first thing you want to consider is to read and analyze the moot question. Although this stage of your research should be relatively brief, it is nevertheless extremely important to have a thorough grasp of the issues before you begin the substantive stages in the research process. So I would definitely look at what I would term key issues. Am I dealing with purely substantive law or procedural? Maybe it's both. With the KK Luthra Memorial Moot Court competition of 2024, you had to deal with both, so it's something to look out for. Now you'd need to identify the applicable law. Nelson Mandela, Christ of Haynes is definitely a human rights moot court competition. So we've got the right of education, we've got discrimination, we've got freedom of expression. With trade law, you're most likely than not going to bump into your MFN, your most favored nation treatment, or your NT, national treatment. Perhaps you're looking at the exceptions, the security exceptions under the guard, or your general exceptions. Then the second thing is, what court are you appearing before? Is it the African Court on Human and People's Rights? Is it the ICJ, your International Court of Justice? This would definitely help you in your research process. For example, when you're looking for judgments, an African court judgment is definitely going to be more persuasive than an African Commission judgment. Not that you can't use the latter, but in terms of persuasion, your African court judgment will definitely help you with your judges. Likewise, your ICJ judgment is more persuasive than your High Court of Zimbabwe case. So you definitely need to pay attention to that. Now that you've read your moot court question, you've analyzed it, you've thought about it, you've digested it, the second thing for me would be a crash course, a mini crash course. A good general knowledge of the subject area of the moot will place you in an ideal position to research the specific legal issues that are relevant to your case. Because most often than not, moot court questions will give you very new areas of law that you are yet to be taught or might never be taught. So it's just good to have a general appreciation of the area of law that you are dealing with. The third step would be your primary sources, looking into them. So this list is not exhaustive, but it's very illustrative. So you need to make use of your primary sources so that you can identify with relative precision, because remember, there's no one right answer. Your section you're going to use or your article that you're going to use for the moot you're given, because this helps you with the fourth step, which is your secondary sources. Secondary sources will really help you get a deeper appreciation of what that article means. For example, you're dealing with Article 2 of the African Charter, which speaks to discrimination. You could use the textbook by Rachel Muri, where she writes a commentary on the African Charter. What does discrimination mean? What has the commission, the African Commission or the African Court said about discrimination? What's the test? So you get those answers from your textbooks, commentaries, articles, and so forth. You could find them on your databases like Justa, Oxford University Press, and so forth. But sometimes you may not have access to these databases, so you could ask your friends abroad or your lecturers, hey, I need this article on this database. If you can get it, I'd appreciate it. Now we move on to what not to do. Please, please take heed. Do not rush to type. You will type nonsense. Trust me. You will type nonsense. Do not get carried away. Stay in your lane or lanes, please. And avoid using too many authorities. You do not need 10 cases to prove to the judge that discrimination means this. If you've got to, you're okay. Then lastly, the firefighting pandemic. Run and avoid it. Now we move on what to do. Keep track and compile a document for all your useful information you find. Your case, write it down. Copy and paste the link. Your textbook, maybe you found something on a specific page, write it down. Your article, maybe there's a specific paragraph that really speaks to what you're looking for, write it down. Secondly, make use of the librarians. They know more than you do, and they know which textbook will guide you more than you do. Make use of your Boolean searching operators. You will learn, or perhaps you've learned about it in your legal research and writing course. They help you narrow down your searching results. Check the dates of the textbook that you're using, the article that you're reading, and the case that you're relying on. For cases, it's okay to use a grandmother case, your 1861, 1902, that's fine. But please look for a more recent one. Trust me, you will need it. And then check whether or not your case law is still good law. What I mean by this is perhaps you're dealing with a national moot court case and you're relying on a high court judgment. Perhaps there's a Supreme Court judgment that has done away with that high court case. So you need to make sure that your case law is still good law. Then lastly, just be as thorough as you can. Check your dates. Check who is this person who wrote this textbook or is an article. Is it a student? Is it a special rapporteur? etc. Please do not underestimate any of these things. So these are the books that you could use to go further into the nitty-gritties of legal research.